2022 was a crazy year for the Denver housing market, where the beginning of the year started out crazy hot and the end of the year dramatically slowing down. Ultimately, how did we end in 2022? In this video right here, we're going to dive into the numbers and show you what kind of picture we're seeing.
All right, let's go.
If this is your first time watching Pete and Chelsea Sweeney, what we'd like to do on this channel is bring you the good, the bad, sometimes inappropriate of Denver and all of its surrounding cities. If that's something that you'd like to keep updated on, why don't you go ahead and hit that thumbs up, maybe the little subscribe button, notification bell, that way you're notified every single time we put out a brand new video.
Yes, and as much as we love making these videos for you, we love making your move here to Colorado a reality. If you're looking for that licensed real estate agent here in Colorado to partner with you, here is our phone number down below. Give us a call, text anytime.
Now, in this video, all the market stats that we're going to be covering is technically going to be covering the Denver metro area. And so that encompasses 11 counties. And I need my little notepad here because I don't remember all the counties. So in alphabetical order, let's go ahead and look at.
How are you going to arrange them?
Let's go ahead. So Adams County, Arapahoe County, Boulder County, Broomfield County, Clear Creek County, Denver County, Douglas County, Albert County, Gilpin County, Jefferson, and Park County. I feel like the micro machine's got a little bit.
I honestly love that you put county behind each one.
I know. I should have said this. You obviously know it's a county.
If you're confused about where all those counties lie, you can just kind of use the cheat sheet on the map. And what we do is we kind of look at this 470, which is like that unofficial boundary, when you're looking at Denver. So Denver, the unofficial boundary with a little pie sliced out, but if you follow that around, that's going to be everything encompassing the inside boundary of that circle. Okay, so before we actually start diving into all the numbers and how the market trends are going through the whole year and kind of a summary of that, I think it's important to understand like how much has Colorado grown. So in 2022, Denver, using Denver as the
Denver
hub,
metro area.
It was 2.9 million in population, which is a 1.22% growth. So definitely growing.
Well, and that's more, so like when we look back at 2020 and 2021, it was actually under, I think it was under 0.5%. Like the 2021 was 0.48%. The year before that was like something. So it's good that we're back up in the 1% range. And so what does that mean with that growth?
What that means is that Denver is actually starting to be kind of one of those top growing cities. According to Axios.com, it was actually the 6th fastest growing city in 2022.
All right, cool. So as we dive into these numbers, I'm just going to kind of give you a story of what I'm seeing. So being a real estate agent here, we kind of look at these numbers. What does this mean for us when we're making offers, when we have people that we're helping out in the area? Because if these numbers were completely different, say like 2021, these numbers were pretty much flipped, right? And so let's go and dive into those numbers. First one's being is how many listings are on the actual market.
As you know, listings and kind of availability of houses is always on the top of the question list when we have clients coming into town. So talking about active listings, if you take detached and attached, and overall it's actually up 222, lots of twos, 222%. If you were to separate that overall and look at detached, it's up 252%, leaving attached at 156%. So we are starting to see more inventory. We knew that the market was slowing.
But honestly, like I said, interest rates was the biggest driving factor to this, and we're going to dive into that a little bit deeper when we go into some other numbers. But I mean, what does this mean, guys? The biggest thing it means is that the fact that it's a hot seller's market is gone. And I could tell you from experience, when we're working with clients just like yourself every single day, we are seeing that, where we are able to get below list price now, where we are able to get some concessions in, able to get some repairs done in the house. So if you're a buyer who's coming into Colorado right now, this is actually great news for you, right? So it means, I know that interest rates are high right now, but the thing about it is that interest rate could always be refinanced. We're beginning of 2021, you're having to spend, $50, sometimes $100,000 over list price. You don't ever get that back. Interest rate, you can refinance and lower that rate. So I think right now this market, even though interest rates are crazier than they were in the beginning of 2021, is a great time to buy.
Yeah, so the other thing too, when you guys are calling me, you're often getting me first because we start going through like what your life looks like and how do we financially plan for this and try to really just match you with your like dream area. But one of the things that we do is we talk with that lender and we can factor in the 6% interest rate into what you want your monthly payment to look like. And then later down the road, if you get to refinance out, it's like a bonus, right? You get a much lower mortgage payment. As far far as like the equity, like we have zero control over that. So some of our clients will be like, hey Chelsea, you know, we were at 600,000 or 500,000. Let's go ahead and lower that down 50,000 so that we can still stay within that, you know, nice range monthly. It might get us a little less than the house, but not really, right? Like it used to be a little less than the house if you were to look at a house for 500 and then go down to 450. But because the houses are actually being priced more appropriately, you're still getting about the same amount of house right now, even though the interest rates are high.
Yeah, and so just kind of throw a quick, you know, client story in there right now. We literally just got a client that came in 80,000 below list price, and we got it. And so that just kind of tells you right there how desperate some of these sellers are to sell these houses, giving the buyers more power. Some say that right now it's a little bit even, right? So sellers can still require some stuff. I'm not seeing that at all. I think it's a hardcore buyer's market right now, which is awesome. The next topic we're going to cover is the closed homes in Colorado in 2022 as compared to 2021. And it was actually down overall for encompassing the attached and detached. It was down 43, almost 44%. That just tells you not as many houses sold, right? And so not many houses are selling. Another great reason for buyers. So what does that look like if we break it down into attached and then detached? If we look at detached, it was down 42, almost 43% from 2021. If we look at attached, it was down 43, almost 44%. Pretty much across the board, we did not see as many houses sell in 2022 as we did in 2021.
Well, and I think we can also speak that any of our listings, some people will pull off, right? As soon as they saw the market kind of slow, they're like, oh, I want to get the most out of my house. You know, do I wait? And so depending on the circumstances, people were waiting. I mean, those houses could be coming back on the market at some point, but they're kind of waiting to see what the market's doing.
Yeah, and that's what we're holding on right now. Usually what we do is we have a good indicator of what the year's going to look like come February. We're like, all right, how's this market? Is it going to pick up at all? Maybe these interest rates come down a little bit. I don't know. I can't predict the future, but that's kind of what we're looking to is like February, March timeframe, we'll have a good idea of what this year is going to look like. And I say that, and then like in 2022, it was different because we were like, oh my God, this is going to be another crazy year. And then like after the summer just tanked. There was so much more happening with that, obviously with the interest rates. There's some uneasiness around the economy. We understand that, but just kind of what we're projecting or what we see, we could really, I think we have a better picture come February or March. One of the things that we've seen in the last like 5 to 7 years in Colorado was double-digit equity gains, right? Every single year we saw, you know, up into the teens of equity gains for what houses we're selling for. What we saw in 2022 is that we didn't have those double-digit equity gains. So what do we look at if we encompass everything together? So we're talking about your attached and your detached. For the Denver metro area, your median sales price was $554,990, so almost $555,000,
which is up about 1.83% from 2021. So 1.83% is all. We were seeing 10, 11, 12, like all the way up to like 18 sometimes in crazy areas. And we're at 1.83% from 2021 as a whole.
All right, cool. So let's break that down. Let's look at your detached houses. What's the median sales price for your detached houses? You're looking at a median sales price of $600,000, which is
0.1%.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about, where that one just kind of like it started to tick up, and then towards the end of the year did this, and now it's just baseline, right? It's like we're just going to stay right here. We'll see what happens this year. Another number that we're going to want to cover is your attached, which the median sales price was $405,000.
Now this one was up 5.7%, so a little bit more. Now, one thing I think we really need to talk about at this is people were buying houses for way more. Obviously, that's going to affect their equity, which Peter talked about in the beginning of this video about how we can't promise equity gains. And so if you're buying a house for more than what it's worth or, you know, at a steady rate, we might not see those equity gains.
There might be, because of how crazy 2021 was in like quarter one and part of quarter two, there might be some people underwater if they did decide to go in, you know, quite a bit over list price and didn't put as much down, which is a horrible thing to think about. But what does this really tell us? So this is what it tells us is with higher interest rates, you have less buying power, right? So if you're qualified, say at $500,000 at 3%, once that bumps up to 6%, that decreases your buying power. So that might be why our attached is going up a little bit. Now these people who were able to afford the detached products before can't anymore because those higher interest rates kind of moved them a little bit lower down to how much they qualify for on a house.
I was trying not to laugh when you were, because like that was such good information, but you almost like nailed me in the face a couple times. He gets so, I put my hands in my lap, and as you know, Peter's like so descriptive with his hands. But
yeah, I honestly like, when it comes down to the numbers and we're sitting here like just doing the whole numbers thing, if I was on your end, I'd get bored out of my mind. I don't like it. I'd prefer the fun stuff. We're going and touring and vlogging these different areas, but this is super important, guys. And that's why I like bringing these videos to you guys, because this is information that you need to know when you're making your decision whether or not you're moving into the Denver metro area.
Yeah, and we're hearing it every single day. People call us every single day. Hey, Chelsea, like, is now the time? Like, what about interest rates, this and that? And we are still leaning towards yes, and that is not because we do the real estate side. It's because our buyers are extremely happy right now. If you asked us that this last year, like quarter one, quarter two, that is not the same story we were having. And so to me and you as well, like we really want the transition to your new home, like where you build your memories with your family and your friends, to be something that is that you can get what you want and you have some leverage and all of that, instead of just like every single day us setting this expectation of like we're gonna have to put in 100 contracts, you know. So it's just a very different time, and we're having really satisfied clients because they get time to think about things, and they're able to be like, yeah, you know, this is okay. Like, I'm okay with that. Whereas before, we're like mitigating risk, really. We were like, okay, how are you willing to take this on?
Man, there was so much stress when we were constantly going in on the bidding war, seeing how much more we had to go over list price, seeing how much money we had to put down, worrying about appraisals to come back low. This market, I love this market right now. It is so much fun for buyers, just because we could go out. Yeah, not for listings, but it's so fun because we could go in and find that house that you really do like, and majority of the time we're not competing against anyone else, and we can still ask for, you know, some price drops or concessions. Right now is a great time. It's a fun time for me because before it's just like you're driving around and you're like, okay, we got to hurry up and put this in because we got a deadline here and there, and it just feels so much more rewarding helping buyers out right now.
Yeah, the other thing too, during the really crazy time of the market, it was so important that we were able to teach in a way that our buyers felt comfortable making decisions quickly. Whereas now we do get to take our time and teach throughout the process, and every time one little thing comes up, we're able to kind of, you know, teach in that moment and then move on to the next one, so that like by the end of it, you're a pro, you know exactly what you're doing. Whereas like in those moments before, we're like, what's the most important things? Like, how do we tell you, like, you know, we're protecting this, and we're like with earnest monies, and we're doing all these things, and we're trying to just like teach so much in such a small amount of time that it was making buyers uncomfortable.
It was.
And so you had to be really good educators in the market and like throughout the transaction process, which thankfully you've been doing this for so long that it's fine, but it just makes buyers feel so much better.
I agree.
All right, guys, we talked about a lot of numbers. We talked about the market. Yes, it's a buyer's market right now. We love helping all the buyers moving into Colorado. We would love to help you. If there's certain questions that you have about 2022 as a whole, or what projections you think are coming in 2023, please comment down below, and feel free to let us know if there's any other video topics that you want us to cover, because we do this for you.
And of course, guys, we're going to throw the phone number below one more time right there. Give us a call, give us a text, doesn't matter date or time. We are here for you. And until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye.